Meditate, manifest, invest in you. Join me on my spiritual journey as I elevate myself and like-minded listeners to a higher level mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thank you for listening. This is Black Hippie Lounge, and I am your host, Chanel. Alright, so good evening. Today is June 13th. And hope that everybody had a good weekend. And I had a pretty good weekend. I didn't really do that much though. But it's been pretty nice. Like, the weather has been nice. And so yeah. My last episode was June 2nd. There was an interview with Malcolm J from Texas. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview. He actually reached out to me, which was cool. He wanted to be on the podcast, so shout out to him. He was really fun to talk to. He's funny, and check out his music too, and his work. You can follow him on Instagram. But I'm trying to think. I feel like I haven't really been able to do a lot of episodes. I just had a lot of stuff going on. I had my brother's wedding coming up. Last weekend I was in New York for my sister. She did like a girls' weekend, which was so fun. We went on like a boat ride and went to a comedy show. It was fun. It was definitely like a needed getaway, a little quick getaway. I didn't even really want to come back home. But I met some really, really great women. So shout out to them. And yeah, it was good. I had a really good time. Definitely trying to do that again with them. So what I did was I had found this picture. I forget where I found it, but it was a question. And let me read it. It was, you meet your 18-year-old self. You're allowed to say 3 words. What would you say? So what I did was I asked some friends and family, both men and women, what they would answer this question with. So you only get to say 3 words to your 18-year-old self. And I think that sometimes, 18-year-old is technically an adult, but still it's like a kid. You're still trying to learn stuff. You're always learning as an adult, but I think that a lot of times when we have questions like that, we automatically think about all the bad things that we've done and like how we wish we could change certain things. But I think that it's important to remember that everything happens for a reason, and all the mistakes that you made, 18, 19, whatever, led you to where you are now, and it's going to keep whatever you do from today on is going to lead you to, you know what I mean? Like, you're never making the wrong turn or wrong choices, even if they are quote unquote wrong. You're always guided back to where you need to be. So it's just life lessons. Just keep that in mind. But I did like the responses that people gave. So I will read there was less women than men. So I'll read the women one first. So for me, I said, my answer was trust your intuition. I feel that when I was 18, even like 18 and my teens and 20s, it was hard for me to really understand and listen to my intuition. And even sometimes now I struggle with that a little bit, but I feel like I've learned other practices to kind of calm myself to be able to trust and know when it's my intuition versus like anxiety. So I would tell myself and teach myself how to trust my intuition, because like they say, a woman's intuition is so powerful. And I feel that we as women need to be taught more like how to tap into that and how to really trust it and understand what it's saying to you. Like, when you get that gut feeling, like follow that. And so, yeah, I would tell myself that, amongst other things. There were so many things that I did at 18 that I cringed now thinking about it. But that's life, So I'm just gonna read off what the women said. So one said, don't grow up. Another one said, build real relationships. Someone else said, have more fun. I definitely agree with that, even though I had a blast, but I would have even more fun. Save your money. Oh my gosh. If I could just stamp that on my head, like I wish I would have done it. Save more money. I like this one. Peace within comes. That's actually a really, really great one. I love that because, when you're a teenager, up even like now, sometimes finding peace, it takes a while to get to find peace, because I think that a lot of times we always look for peace from others or from the outside, and it takes a while to learn that peace comes from within. And once you have that peace, like literally it's like a shield. Nothing can come, like nothing can break you, So I really like that one. Peace within comes. And so I actually asked an actual 18-year-old and she said, get a summer job. I'll let that remain anonymous who that was, but I would probably tell myself that too. Did I have it? Yeah, actually I feel like I didn't have a summer job. That's the one time I didn't have a summer job, so I agree with that. That was what the women said, and I'll comment on that after. I'll just read the men as well. So the men, there were definitely way more responses. One person said, be prepared, keep the house, stretch your boundaries, learn to win, do not stop, be more humble, keep going, dog. Did I say stretch your boundaries? Someone said pull out ASAP. No comment. Be more humble, don't party hard. This one was more than 3 words, but it's okay. He said, your mission is to accomplish what is yours rightfully. I like that as well. So overall, like, the responses that I got were very good, and I agree with a lot of them. So which one do I want to... I feel like a lot of them kind of just touch on the idea of like finding that balance of having fun and enjoying your life, but also still trying to take care of your responsibilities at an earlier age versus having to play catch up at a later stage. Because I feel like a lot of times, like, we have our parents in our ear telling us, save your money, do this, do that, you have time for it. But when you're young, like, it's more than just like, I want to have fun. Like, you feel like your life is passing you by too. So you're like, yeah, that's great and all. Like, I want to save my money and be able to own a house and stuff like that, but I want to have fun still too, So it's like trying to find that balance. And that's with life, like, you learn. So I want to talk about the one that says, okay, so definitely the save your money. Like, I definitely encourage that. And that should be at any age, really. Like, just have good money management. I think that a lot of times within the Black community, we're not taught a lot of tools about money management, and I wish that we were, especially at a younger age. I think that sometimes the idea of like loans and all that stuff is pushed on us versus like trying to figure out a different way. And so I wish that, more money management was taught in schools and just at home amongst the Black community. I definitely encourage that. Trust your intuition. Like I said, that's a big one to me, just because your intuition will never lie, because your intuition is your higher self, like, guiding you and protecting you. Definitely the peace within comes. I like that one too. Build real relationships. I think that's important as well, because when we're 18, you have a lot of people that you consider a friend, but you learn as you go on, like, that person really wasn't my friend. We just connected because of this, or they were maybe using me, or vice versa, or this is my friend for parties, this is my friend for this, but and I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those experiences, but I think it is important, like that person said, to build real relationships, because I have friends that I met when I was 17, 18, when I went to college, and I'm still friends with them, and they know everything about me and vice versa, and I can go to them and tell them anything. We cannot speak for months to years, and I can just hit them up and we'll talk like we just saw each other the other day. So I feel like I was lucky enough to build real relationships, and I still, even now, I have friends that I've just met years two ago that I have built real relationships with. But I think it's definitely important, at 18, to do that, to work on building real relationships and having real friends that become basically is family, not really even a friendship. I like the one, definitely keep going, because that's gonna be life, whether you 18, 28, 38, 48, whatever. There's always gonna be obstacles that come your way, but you have to keep going. Be prepared. Definitely, I like that one also, because again, it's life. You want to be prepared and ahead of the game versus behind and trying to catch up as best as you can. You can't be prepared for everything, but if you can at least prepare yourself for some things, I think that that's important. Do not stop. Be more humble. I like those as well, because again, it's just pushing you to strive for the best, and that's really all you can do. Your mission is to accomplish what is yours rightfully. I like that as well, because it's again just fighting for what you deserve and the best in life for yourself. And so overall, I really like these responses that people gave, but I think it's important to, some of them, like I said, that money one and the intuition is just the ones that pop out to me, and peace within, because I feel that so many people my age, or 30s, 20s, we always say man, I wish I had saved, or man, I wish I had done this differently. And obviously, even when it comes to going to school, some people wish that they hadn't gone to school and they chose a different route. And obviously there's good things about going to school, and then there's some things that if you didn't pay out of pocket, you have loans, you have all these things. So I think that I like those ones, because you realize later on in life how important money is. I think that when we're 18, depending on your situation and how you grew up or anything like that, money, and not necessarily going to say that it comes and goes so easily, but I don't think that we learn so much the value of a dollar, or the value of saving your money, or where your money goes, because you may still be living at home with your parents, or you might be in a living situation where you're not necessarily dependent on yourself for everything. But when you go into that real world and you get your own place, or you have a roommate and that's your own place, and you're responsible for paying rent and paying your bills and making sure you have a roof over your head and food in the refrigerator and stuff like that, life gets real. I feel like when I was 18, living at home, and I was working and getting my car, working on getting my license and my car and all that stuff, you focus on little things like that. Well, not little, but things like that. But I didn't worry about, I have to make sure that I work this amount of hours and get this amount of money for the month to pay my rent. I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about, I paid, not 18. I didn't have my license yet, but certain things, certain bills, car insurance, stuff like that, that may or may not be something that you have to be responsible for. But I just feel when you are a teenager and your 20s, it's just different. You do have responsibilities, but they're not as pressing as they are in your late 20s and 30s. Yeah, unless you have a kid, if you have a child, then yeah, I'm sure then that's even more. That's added on even more. So yeah, overall, I feel like it was a good question, just to kind of give people. I feel like it's a question that makes you think, like I said, not necessarily only of the negative things, but it can make you like reminisce on, how far you've come too, and to remember that you still have time to keep going and like accomplish even more things, or you can always change directions. You can always make changes in your life. You don't have to, wherever you are right now, it doesn't have to be where you are forever. And anything that you did when you in the past is in the past. And like I was saying earlier, like even if it was a quote unquote mistake, it doesn't matter. It led you to where you are, and it led you to where you're supposed to be. I think that sometimes we get so wrapped up in like, oh, I shouldn't have done this and I shouldn't have done that. Like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have, but if you hadn't, maybe you wouldn't have met another person, or you wouldn't have learned something else about yourself, or how resilient you are, or how, smart you can be, or how quick you can be on your feet, or to figure out a resolution for things. So everything happens for a reason, and we have to remember that. And obviously, I'm not saying like just keep making mistakes. Like, do as best as you can to prevent yourself from making mistakes and getting in these situations that could be harmful to you. But also not beating yourself up when you do get in a situation. Don't necessarily think like, oh man, I messed up. Like, yeah, you can say, all right, yeah, I messed up. But like, okay, what can I learn from this? And I think that sometimes that's hard to do when you're in that space, and you might be panicking or feeling like, oh, I got to get all this done, or I have to figure this out, but once you do figure it out and things are resolved, like just take note of like remembering what happened, how you got there, and what you could do differently, or what it taught you, whether it be about yourself or others. And yeah, overall, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. It's not like a pressing topic to discuss. It's just something to kind of get back into recording, because I just been busy with stuff and haven't really been able to record. But I've had like this question. I have some other ones too, other episodes that I'm gonna definitely do that tap into like some other topics that I try to do for you guys. And yeah, so I mean, even if you want to add to it, if you want to, you can message me or something, or comment on it, I'll put it on the page. And if you want to add whatever you would say to yourself, to your 18-year-old self, because I didn't get to interview or ask everybody what they would say, but I asked a lot of people, and whoever responded, I just kept their response. And yeah, I would say just take this question and think about where you are today, what you look like, how you are, how you carry yourself, where your career, whatever, where you live, whatever, everything about you now versus like your 18-year-old self, and how things have changed or may not have changed. And I'm sure there's definitely like things that you can think about to make you think back and laugh about some things that you've done. I know for me, definitely. And just learning, again, like life is all about growing and trusting the process and learning from yourself and learning from others, and being, like someone said, being more humble and being willing to I feel like sometimes we forget as we get older to be a sponge. And I feel like that is something I would say too to my 18-year-old self, is be okay with being a sponge and absorbing as much advice and information as you can. I think that's something like when we're 18, like, oh, I'm grown, I'm an adult, I can do what I want, and I don't have to listen to this person, or yeah, whatever, like it's easy to be like that. But I would say be a sponge and try to get as much help as you can, information as you can, just to prevent yourself from having to learn tough lessons in life. Because yeah, it's all great to be able to be like, oh, I learned from that, and I made that mistake. But it would be even better to say like, oh, this person told me this and I followed it and it got me there faster. That's another thing. Like, yeah, it's great to learn lessons, but sometimes when we have to learn lessons like that, it can kind of delay your process too. So that's why I say be a sponge and take as much advice and information and assistance as you can from others who've already lived what you're going through, because it can just help you get to accomplish your goals faster too, and get to where you're trying to be in a faster pace without, potentially getting yourself in a position to make a mistake that can be like a permanent mistake, which can be so many different things. But yeah, I would say that. But I definitely agree with having fun. Have more fun. Like, have as much fun as you can. Really, that's any age, because we never know what's going to happen, honestly. So any age, I would say have more fun. Enjoy. I would say vacation more too. Like, I wish that I had done that more. I wish I had vacationed more and traveled more. So I would definitely say travel too. But there's so many different things that, that I would say. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, it's not like deep, but it's just something that, I asked some people and wanted to see what people would say and to answer the question. And like I said, I have other episodes that I'm gonna do. I'll do another one next week. And I hope that you guys have a great week. Stay cool. It's supposed to be really hot, I think, this week too. It was a heat wave like last weekend. But yeah, it's probably gonna be a good summer. I feel like it's gonna be a good summer. And it's overall, hope you guys have a great week, like I said, and take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and enjoy your week. I'm your host, Chanel, and this is Black Hippie Lounge. Meditate, manifest, invest in you. And I will be having another episode next week. So take care.